Sally Swafford, President of Prosperity Partners Wealth Management. Did you know September is Life Insurance Awareness Month? Many of you may have viewed our video about the history of why September became Life Insurance Awareness Month, and it was a result of 9/11. The drastic effect that catastrophe had on our country, on the people who lost their lives, and particularly the families of those who lost their lives, made it an issue to consider, well, what about life insurance? How important is it? In that first video, you may have got the feeling that, yes, it protects families, and it certainly does. And that's a very important purpose of life insurance. Some of you may have said, well, I've outgrown the need for life insurance, but there are certainly reasons to reconsider that decision. For example, if you have life insurance but not long-term care, you may be able to do something called a 1035 exchange, which is a swap of your old policy, the cash value of a policy you may have had for 10, 20, 30 years, for one that addresses both issues. Because certainly extended care or long-term care is something that everyone needs to consider, considering how long our life expectancies are, but not only in the best of health. So there's one reason you might want to evaluate your life insurance. Second, possibly you have a large 401k or IRA that will hit the next generation with a large income tax bill, assuming you don't spend it all during your lifetime. Using funds out of your IRA or 401k now at a younger age before required minimum distribution, and using those distributions to leverage those dollars into a life insurance much larger policy could address that inheritance issue. Certainly I often hear, well, do I have to take my required minimum distribution? I really don't need it. Well, what better way to use a portion of that required minimum distribution than to leverage those dollars into a first to die or even a second to die? And some of you may not be aware, there is something called a second to die life insurance policy. Wouldn't that be a blessing if your children had the tax-free assets to pay the income tax on your IRA or 401k? An issue I can speak to personally. What about charity? Boy, I know most of us would like to give as much as we possibly can to charity. I had an old life insurance policy that had cash value. When I took out that policy, mortality and expenses were much higher because folks weren't living as long as we are today. So by looking at my current health, which was good, I was insurable, looking at those lower mortality and expense costs, I was able to leverage that life insurance policy so that I could make a gift, which helps me on my personal income taxes, but also really benefits the charities that I'm most passionate about. These are just three of many, many ways that life insurance as an asset class can be used to do so many things. There's a concept called be your own banker. By using life insurance and the ability to borrow the cash value inside of it to finance things like a piece of property rather than go through a traditional banking system. Creativity has been really prominent in this life insurance industry. If you would like to have your current policy evaluated, or if you don't have a policy and you say, well, maybe a policy makes sense for me, please reach out to Prosperity Partners. We would love to help you discover the many, many uses of life insurance. Thank you.